The opening lines of Isušena kaljuža by Janko, Polić, Kamov. In a small rinsed-out bottle, Arsen sent a few samples of his saliva to his doctor for analysis. He had caught bronchitis, coughing up dozens of solid yellow pieces every day. Arsen compared them to corals and sponges that were formed as such. As for the colour, he referred to them as being yellow, yellow like a canary or yellow like polenta. But he didn't give any special importance to any of this, and he had already come to terms with the fact that this was chronic catarrh, which not even the spring sun would dry up. And the spring did come, tapping along on little cheeky young legs, wrapped in shiny stockings. Even the forest was sprouting leaves, leaves like the little noses of young girls peeking out through a small window. The birds too were vying with childish chatter, taking flight through the branches like a young lady who is twirling around in a little skirt, whilst everything about her says she is to be married. And the first drops of sweat began seeping out like nocturnal emissions of a teenage boy. Arsen had watched the whole of that springtime from the sky to the ground, catching his eyes on the flying around of the clouds, which passed bedraggled above him, white like innocence and full like a tear. But he just spat at the ground, not sparing those maidens who were rushing into the embrace of the temperamental sun. Arsen chuckled to himself about that. They were saying, it's spring, yet spring came and everything remained the same. He lived through the winter reading, scrawling and cursing. The doctor had forbidden him to smoke, but Arsen, seeing that without smoking any treatment was boring, had a sly cigarette on the side, and well, you know, one glass leads to another. Then he began to go out, at first totteringly, like a country carriage, then increasingly steadier, more stable like an automobile. He also carried a stick, but more because of nervousness than necessity. Furthermore, he also began to go down to the inns and discovered that the booze worked well on his catarrh. Arsen explained this with verve. So, you sleep well and in the morning you cough and splutter everything up and out without a problem. The main thing is to throw everything out, the unnecessary and the rotten. His drinking companions just nodded kind-heartedly, listening to his enthusiastic explanations, which usually ended, and what is more important, after booze you get an appetite. And appetite, my brothers, appetite is everything. And he did get an appetite, it could be said, of a little puppy. This was a great contention with his mother. His mother was like all mothers. For her it was most important that her children had an appetite, especially when she was the only one cooking.